All right, I always start this now by saying this is research. I am cited in 2,085 different papers. Now, so this is research. Do not disallow this, please, because it's really significant. Now, how are doctors treating COVID-19 right now? I say that there is a better way to treat COVID-19 using natural probiotics, which are the bacteria that's in your body. Now, they have just discovered this, but they still don't understand it. This is what's killing me. Out here, they go on about what kind of drugs they're testing. They're testing 4 different drugs, and they just have no clue what they're doing because they're looking for vaccines and different intervention drugs. What you need to do is focus on the source of the problem, and that is bacteria. Let's look at that right now. All right. What they don't even know what it is, really. Coronavirus isn't even alive, but the experts explain how it can harm you. Well, the reason it harms you is it's a molecule that is extremely invasive and attacks collagen, that is the rubbery flexible collagen that makes your heart and your lungs and your blood vessels and all that be able to move like that. So it's not even an alive thing that's going and biting it. It's a chemistry kit that's going out and killing it. But that chemistry kit is created by a live bacteria. So the virus is really an enzyme. Let's look at that. All right, it's pointless to talk about our viruses alive. They are not really alive. What is alive is the bacteria. The bacteria creates the enzyme. The enzyme is the virus. The virus does its job. And then they talk about, here, down here, let's just cut to the chase. They have no idea really what's going on. He says viruses need to invade a living organism. That's correct, to replicate. So it dumps its codes, literally program codes, into a cell, and the cell has bacteria in there, and the bacteria know how to make what that program sends. If the bacteria is not there, you're not going to make it, you are going to die. Now, they have to invade these living organisms, which are your bacteria, so that they can start to create these enzymes, which are not alive, they are the chemistry set. Now, viruses are packaged RNA or DNA, Yang told Live Science. They make more copies of themselves by hijacking the machinery of the cells to replicate themselves. Exactly. Now, if the cells, when they say cells, no, they're not just any cells. They have to hijack a certain cell, which is a white blood cell, and that certain white blood cell has to have bacteria in it that is capable of creating these elegant enzymes. Let's look at that. Just so you understand, countless philosophers have tried to debate whether these things are alive or not. Well, there's a living thing that creates a product. The product is not alive, but the product is the invader. That's the chemistry. All right, here it is right here. This is Seeker, and this is Gokul, and he is looking at what happens inside of the factory that is what we call white blood cells. And in that white blood cell, you will see in a minute, there is a ton of different bacteria. And the bacteria, as I said before, is the creator of these elegant, super complicated molecules that we call viruses, which we call proteins. And they are the things that get squirted right out into the blood system, and then they have an address attached to it, which is what the receptor, it looks for a receptor that has that same architecture, and grabs onto it, squirts its program into the cell, which is the white blood cell. The white blood cell now knows what bacteria to turn on to make these programs. And if the bacteria is not there, the program's lost. Has no place to go. Now watch what happens there. This is really fascinating. Now, this is new photography techniques where they can watch these biological processes and not injure the little cells, because they're taking a very, very tricky way, a bazillion different photographs with not much power, and then when they put them together, it's just amazing. Here goes. So in other words, this is Seeker, and I believe this is Caltech. I forget. Well, I think it says it as we go along here. Here goes.
Something I will never forget. The hair on my hands just stood up. It's a microscopic universe within each cell.
This is an unprecedented view of the cellular world, where we can actually...
All right, did you see what happened there? Let me just go back a second, because it's only going to take a second. He's looking at the whole structure of the tissue here. Within this tissue, there is all kinds of white blood cells. Not a ton of them, but most of your tissues are muscles and tendons and different organs and fibers and layers of collagen and keratins and so forth. However, there is maintenance cells. Those are your white blood cells. Now, what do? Some of those white blood cells attack foreign invaders. They're like your army guys. It's like you got an army, you got a navy, you got this, you got that. They fight things that come to fight you, which are normally living things, which this COVID has to have some living component that has to be killed, because it's so invasive so quick. It's not like they're just throwing toxins at you. Something is going in you doing just what an enzyme does. It attacks you, but it has to have a bacteria to create the enzyme. So we have a bacteria that is coming in as a COVID, and it's creating an enzyme, and that enzyme is attacking collagen, the collagen that goes like this. It's collagen 1 and 3, and they're the big players, and I think it's collagen 1 is the one that's getting injured here. I'm just talking at that point, but I do know one of the collagens is not, some collagen is being attacked, and it actually gets replaced by fibrosis, because when something gets injured and it gets inflamed, it gets the tissues get really literally destroyed. They have to be scarred over and replaced, and that's called fibrosis. And fibers go in there. Now, certain fibers in certain ways, I've seen heart tissue can replace itself and not be too bad. But that also relies on certain enzymes in your body to make those fibers straighten out. And then I saw another heart that the fibers after the heart attack, they all knotted up like this because it was missing an enzyme. It's literally 100% of the molecules in your body, 100%. Are in contact with some form of invasive, destructive, enabling chemistry. There's some chemistry that touches every single molecule in your body. Whatever you eat has to be broken down. Whatever invades you has to be killed. Whatever is waste has to be packaged for removal. Wherever there is tissues and construction, you have to have these molecules available, these enzymes created by these catalysts, which are the enzymes created by the bacteria in order to construct your bones, in order to construct your cartilage, in order to construct your blood vessels, in order to construct your corneas and your eyeballs and your ears and your hair and everything about you. 100%. So let's watch what happens, because you're going to see this bacteria is going to create, not right here, but you'll see in a second. The bacteria will create an enzyme, and the enzyme is going to be a big ball of a big white-looking ball, and that is a package of DNA or RNA. So it's not really alive, but what it does, it goes out, and then that squirts that package into the cell that will be the maker of the enzymes. That's how it works. So watch it, and I'll try to explain as we go along.
This is an unprecedented view of the cellular world.
See that right there? Every one of these is a bacteria. They're all living. This is the white blood cell. This is a factory. Out here is your plasma, your blood, your transition metals run through here, your blood, your all of the different enzymes and bacteria and everything gets out there. Food is running through there, oxygen, everything. This is going to squirt that extremely instantly. This is real time. Instantly, it created the most complex molecule you could ever imagine. And it squirts it out into the bloodstream to go attack something. This bacteria was enabled by a place in your brain called the CPG islands. They're the code. And the code runs down the vagus nerve. It says, turn on bacteria 127 down there. You say, 127. I said, well, 127 is dead. Why, what happened to 127? Oh, the guy took some antibiotics a couple of weeks ago. This dude isn't dead, and nobody came back. 127 is not here. He said, well, I can't make the stuff. I can't make the enzyme. I said, well, I guess the guy's going to die. And so, and I'm serious. That is as simple as it gets. That thing turned that sucker on instantaneously. It squirts it up into the bloodstream. And if you don't have it, you are going to be on a respirator. All right, watch how fast this happens. This is real time. This is not, sped up. This is actual, and these molecules that are formed, they do the chemistry in a blink of an eye that would take literally hundreds of years to do. It would happen because it is a process of making and breaking the chemicals down to a certain point, but the catalyst does it just like that. Done. Watch. Watch how fast the molecules create.
This is an unprecedented view of the cellular world, where we can actually see immune
Squirts it
cells
right out.
scooping
Watch
up
this one.
sugars in the ear of a zebrafish in real time.
Boom.
Focusing only on the crawling immune cells.
All right, these are the immune cells he's talking, and that's what we're just looking at, immune cells. And they create these bacteria in there, create these enzymes. If you don't have the enzymes, you're done. So think of that process. Go through this a few times. This is extremely important to understand. We need to get the gut bacteria under control. The vagus nerve is a highway that it locates and delivers what's necessary to the places it's necessary. It has the programs to construct the molecules to make or break what needs to be made or broken. And if you don't have the bacteria, once it sends that command down, it's called gene expression. It expresses a command. It says, hey, go do this. And the guy says, there's nobody there. What are you going to do? The command's there. There's nobody there to do it. That is what happens when you take antibiotics. And then you don't repopulate the right bacteria. If you look up any disease whatsoever, 100% of chronic illnesses, it will say it causes this type of a gut issue. It's just the opposite. The gut issue causes that type of the disease. And it's because you don't have the enzyme to break down the product to make the product you need. And therefore you say, oh, I'm allergic to this, or oh, I'm lactose intolerant, or then you're going to get skin conditions, you're going to get joint conditions, all kinds of issues related to specific bacterial enzymes, which are nothing more than chemistry sets. I hope this made sense, because it's just absolutely, in my mind, in my opinion, and everything I ever say is my opinion, because I go pretty much against the tide on most things, but I have extremely valid support for the things I say. So it's time to start thinking about this. They just reject it out of hand. I was attacked just recently for saying, let's take just a poll to see who's gotten it that's been taking probiotics. Has anybody? And I have found zero, nobody, not one single person in my 88,000 person group that has been taking probiotics has gotten COVID that I know of, and I've been asking. So if you've gotten it, I'd like to know, and then I'd like to know the severity, and then I'd like to know if probiotics help during the recovery, because the recovery people are not getting recovered because they still don't have the bacteria in their gut to overcome. They're getting better, but they're not getting completely better. There's all these COVID survivor groups are popping up now because they're still saying, boy, I still got all kind of problems after this. You know, you got to get your gut under control. Hippocrates said it. He was 100% right. Now, I started us off by saying this is research, and it is research, and I am not just making blank, false, crazy statements. I have done this my whole life. I understand this extremely well. I have chemistry, electronics. I was a field engineering manager for Victor Business Products, Walter Kidder Corporation after that. I was a major dealer for Sharp Electronics, and they used my system to show off their equipment in their home office, world headquarters in Mahwah, New Jersey. I owned a software development company. Actually, this is it right here. That's the equipment that we used to sell. We had embedded cameras and text, and we did all of that stuff. And believe me, I have a background in literally everything. So I will talk to anybody about anything, and I deserve to be heard. Chemistry, I did the whole 9 yards, and I was very successful at what I did. So I don't want to be told that I cannot speak, and that's what I've been told. It's time to stop that nonsense. All right, and I also have a new nuclear model which works where theirs doesn't, and I have accelerated light. That's light accelerating. Nobody can deny that. This is pulse red laser. It's not going to go any faster than that. That's what it is. And then it went through the Venturi, Rod Warren designed, and I've been working with him for years now. And there it is accelerating. There's no question about it. And it is a particle. There's the particle right there. And here's the particle right down here. And you see that black and white, black and white, black and white? That's like two bar magnets together, which gives us a strong force and a weak force. The white spot is strong and explodes on impact. The black one just rolls away. They would call that dark matter. That's what they're calling it now. All right, here's the concussion. There's the black balls just rolling away. They lay right on top of each other, and it's exactly what they say. They can just snuggle right up to each other, and they have no push away from. The white ones say, just stay away from me. When they came in, as you saw, they came in as little back-to-back electrons. They were like this. And when they hit there, the white ones just exploded. The black ones just get out of the way. So that's exactly identical what they're talking about for fermions and bosons, and it is also exactly what they're talking about possibly for dark matter. Because every one of these white ones has to have a black one attached to it, in my mind, or the black ones are just free floating, laying around, waiting to jump back to a white one when they settle down enough. You see them? Now, is that the case? Or are they always together and the black ones just left? And I think they must be completely separate. I don't know. I have no idea at this point. I really don't. All I'm going to tell you right now, here's what I've come up with. An electron is just this here, like half of this. Electron is like that, just like a bar magnet. Only the black one doesn't do anything on concussion. The white one explodes like a bomb, just like this. Photons are back to back. At rest, they're just like this. If they heat up, they do this. The white ones push. That's what heat is. Heat is pushing in to where it's not wanted. It's making it hotter. All it is more electrons inside of the space. When it gets colder, they come out, and it actually changes the weight of things as well. You see right here, showing the results. Hot and cold change weight. Yes, they do change weight. If you have absolutely identical objects that have the same weight exactly when they are at the same temperature, then when one object is heated, it will weigh more because you're forcing more electrons in and they have weight. Temperature differences means that there is a different amount of kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is nothing more than extra electrons. They're extra electrons forced into anything. And then they want to leave. They want to leave to a place that wants them. Right? So it's extra electrons in the motion of the atoms of the two bodies. They just think one of them's rolling around inside there more, and it is, because it's energetic, it's hot. That's all there is to it, because there's extra electrons in there. I used to have to go to the weights and measures and have certifications done on certain weights, and they had to keep them there for so many hours so that they became the same temperature as the environment. And it's as simple as that. You got more electrons or less electrons, one's going to weigh less and one's going to weigh more. Everything has to be the same, and that is what you call at rest. Once you get into this condition, it's hotter or it's colder. It's hotter when it's pushing in. It's colder when they're being pushed out. It's going to get colder in there. It's as simple as that. No big mystery here. But the real problem is that the Earth itself is crushing through the molecules in space, which are there, and we are overheating, and I mean fast. We're at the end of our life cycle right now, in my opinion.